And a very good morning, everyone. This is a very bad camera today. I've got no microphone around my neck because the Bluetooth died. So we're doing this on the microphone on the phone. So I hope you can hear me. So yesterday evening, Dynamite Blower. Good morning. So yesterday evening there was another stabbing. There was a stabbing on a train inbound to Waterloo, and the person who was stabbed, I do know some details about this because my friend is a train driver. I'm not going to mention his name. I'm not going to mention any other details about what happened. Let's just say it was quite nasty. But there was another stabbing on a train yesterday, and this man died, you see. And as far as I'm aware, that's, I think, the 4th or 5th person to die in 5 days. You know, it's the 5th of January and we have knife crime already. People being killed, people being murdered. For what? So a few weeks ago I had a couple of young men arrested for carrying knives on the street, wielding them about like they were nothing. I will start reading these comments in a sec. Thank you very much for joining. And it seems to me, and it's just my opinion, please feel free to blast me if you wish, that it is a certain type of young individual, not exclusively, but a majority of the time, that are committing these atrocious acts of crime. So, would it be sensible, would it be okay, would it be agreeable with everyone if the police were allowed to do their job using profiling? You know, i.e., if you fit the profile of someone who may be carrying a knife, to stop and search you. I have no problem with this. You see, if a majority of knife crime was carried out by, you know, middle-aged white men with a scraggy ginger beard and wearing glasses, and I fit that profile, and I didn't change my appearance to not fit that profile, you know, if I was carrying a knife or not, I would have no problem with the police doing their job. So let's read some of these comments. Hello Maya, hello Mac. Good morning. I'm going to London today. Well, Tim Blackburn, welcome to London. Stabbings, yep, it's true. Soft 16 stick. Morning. Do you ever get a day off? Yes, I do actually. I got Monday and Tuesday off. It was me who killed him. That's not funny. That's not funny. Because what actually happened, I wouldn't want to wish on anyone. Mad about fly high. I know it was a joke. Hope you have a good day. Thank you, Tim. I hope you have a good day as well. Q&A, please. This all depends on whether or not Anton and I have a day off together. That way we can get the Q&A done at the same time. I have a problem. I have Elder. Okay. Yes, I think it's a good idea. I think it's a fantastic idea. I don't have an issue with profiling, but you have to be labelled a racist pretty fast over getting... Yeah, this is very true. All stabbing is nasty, as you know, pal. I won't blast you at all. It's right. See, this is what I'm getting at. You see, profiling can label you a racist. It can. And I don't agree with that, because if there is a certain type of individual committing a certain type of crime specifically, and you fit that profile, then there should be no issue in being a target of the police to stop and search. That's all it is, stop and search. And if I see a group of boys with their tracksuit bottoms, let me get this straight, okay. If I see a group of young men, right, wearing baggy jeans around their arse crack with tracksuit bottoms on underneath those jeans halfway down their arse crack, wearing boxers pulled up to their armpits like Simon Cowell, while wearing a puffer jacket, which I can only assume is the same one that Road Man's wearing it from. Yeah, man's not hot. I'm sorry, I am going to profile you as you are in that profile. These are the same kids I saw not 2 weeks ago carrying knives on the street. These are the same kids that fit the profile of people who are doing these nasty things. And that is a fact. That's not me being nasty. That's a fact. And it's not exclusive. You know, there is a video going around of a white bloke, funny enough, in his 40s, trying to stab a bloke in a van. Knife crime does exist everywhere. Many, many different people are guilty of it. Many different types of people are guilty of it. However, a majority of it is done by a certain type of person that fit a certain criteria, fit a certain profile, you see. And this goes for absolutely any crime. Any crime. You see, there are certain profiles of people that fit certain crimes. And if you have nothing to fear, nothing to hide, sorry, you have nothing to fear. That's my philosophy on it. If you want to stop and search me 3 or 4 times a day, I've got no issue with that. Do you know why? Because I know you're doing your job. I know you're doing your job. I might not be happy with it all the time, but if I fit a certain profile because there's someone going around, put it this way, if there was a murderer that had escaped, or someone who looked just like me that is on the run for multiple murders, you see, 34-year-old white male, slightly receding, ginger beard, stocky build, wears glasses, spiky hair, you know, big ears. I know for a fact it's not me. This other person who may fit my description may be out there doing whatever he's doing. But I would understand if I'm stopped and searched by the police, or questioned or detained, whatever. I know it's not me. They'll know it's not me because they'll have DNA and evidence, and plus my ID is on me all the time. So they'll know it's not me. But I'll have no issue with the police doing their job and stopping me. If anything, that does me a favour, because it means I'll get pulled in to a police station somewhere, questioned for 4 hours, and still get paid at work. So there we go. But profiling, I don't think profiling should be made a bad thing. It will prevent, in my opinion, or stop a lot of knife crime in London anyway. Let's have a read some of these comments. All stabbing is nothing. I have a feeling the guy's doing it the same appearance as here in Holland. North African type peoples. Probably. Seb Buffet, hi. Probably arrived in a dinghy. See, this is another thing that scares me. Asher Smith, hello Geese, Roy West, good morning. See, this is another thing that gets to me, profiling. Now, there are people coming over in dinghies. What scares me is the fact that about 2 or 3 years ago, there was a female journalist who said where she was that there was going to be an influx of refugees in the coming years, and they are going to be sleepers. She was doing her own digging around, you see. There's going to be an influx of refugees. You won't be able to tell them apart, but they are going to be jihadis. And you won't know. They'll be young, they'll be old. You see? And this is why I think we do need to be tighter with our border control. You know, I accept that we need to take in genuine refugees, people that are claiming refuge, people that are going to be killed or persecuted in the place they live. If they have nowhere else to go and they literally have no other choice to come here, fine, not a problem, I don't mind that. But it gets to a point where, how do we know who is who? How do we decide whether or not someone is genuine or not. It may have to come down to profiling, because, you know, we've seen it in the news. There's been grown men getting through the system, slipping through the net, of 30 plus years old, ending up in schools pretending to be 15. Now, I'm not sure if that's a compliment to him for being so clever, or an absolute disgrace for us for letting him do that. Would profiling have stopped that? You know, would it have? They come here, then disappear into the population. That's what it says here. Unfortunately, that is true. You know, and the thing is, it's not so much that, it's if they manage to get here illegally in the back of a truck, for example, that truck driver can lose his job and he can get a jail term. So that could be his life destroyed. You know, he'll lose his job, could lose his family, could lose his home, could end up in jail, all for the fact that people want to come over here illegally. And that's not his fault, because there's only so many checks that a truck driver can do, you know, before setting off, and he can't check while driving. So he could be driving and people jump on the back when he's not looking at that particular point in his mirror, and he'd never know. You're dead right, bro. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. But no, profiling, I think, needs to be implemented. I'm not going to say across the country, but I am going to say in London, because knife crime is the latest craze in London. Unfortunately, it is disgusting and it's scary. It is, you know, for me to report knife crime and get someone nicked for it, that brings a warm fuzzy feeling to me. It really does. That's one knife off the street until, you know, someone goes to their mum's kitchen drawer, opens up the drawer, and oh look, there's another knife. It needs to stop. So how do we do this? How do we stop it? Okay, let's just say, for example, we've implemented profiling and the police are actively seeking out young groups of males and females that fit a certain criteria. They fill a certain profile, and these young men are being stopped and searched. And let's just say hypothetically that these young men on them bought, and you know, the weapon is taken away and this person is brought to a jail cell and then taken to court and then put in prison for 5 years. Would it then be wrong for people, how can I put it, I'm quite tired this morning, would profiling then be wrong? Because it would clearly have done its job. It would have served its purpose. Profiling would have been a fantastic thing if people actually get caught. Would people whinge about it then, if it starts to work? If profiling is used by the police and knife crime actually goes down, are people going to start whinging about profiling being a bad thing? I don't think so. A lot of people whinge about profiling, but if it stops knife crime, I've got no issue with it at all. Put it this way, when I was 21, I think I was 21. Either way, back in 2004, I got my driving license. My first ever car was a Ford Escort. It was a H-Reg. It was a 1.3. It had 4 forward gears and a reverse gear and a manual choke. It was my favourite car because it was my only car. I just passed my driving test, you see. Unfortunately, where I was living at the time, there was a lot of car theft, and my type of car, my Ford Escort 1.3 Popular Plus, was car of choice for individuals to nick. Now, the individuals doing these nickings of cars were of the travelling population. You see, the minority of people known as travellers, nicking cars, nicking wheels off cars. And the type of car I was driving was very easy to steal. Do you know how many times I was stopped in that one car, and I had that car less than a year? I was pulled over by the police, stopped and searched 9 times. And I had no problem with that. None. Because I understood. Even though I fit the criteria, I was a white bloke wearing a dodgy tracksuit, driving a car with chavved out speakers in the back, listening to shit music, driving up and down with the windows open. You know, I fit that profile. And I was stopped and searched in that car 9 times. You know, I had no issue with that. It was the police doing their job. Police doing their job. So again, I'm going to say it. If you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear. Should police use profiling to help reduce or combat knife crime? Again, I'm going to say it. Yes, they should. Let's have a look. Big Brother cameras, facial recognition is the future. This is fantastic. I'm glad you said that, because there are so many snowflakes out there that are against facial recognition technology. Why? The thing is, you walk anywhere in London, anywhere in the country, we have the most CCTV. That is a fact. There is more CCTV in London than there are cumulative in some American states. We are watched everywhere we go. I mean, I'm even being watched as we speak. And, you know, if you're very clever, you can actually tell where I am. Facial recognition technology, I think, is a fantastic thing. Because if you have a suspect and a known suspect with a picture, and you can run that through a system, and the cameras pick up the that face, and then cameras anywhere else in the country can find that face, then as far as I'm concerned, job done. Job done. You see, facial recognition technology can pick up someone in Birmingham when they've been on the run from London for over a week, just from running his or her face through an algorithm. Then that camera picks them up somewhere and flags them down. No problem. They can look at my beautiful mug all day. I'm not going to break the law. I've got no interest in crime whatsoever. I have nothing to hide. Therefore, I have nothing to fear. I think police should stop and search young men in London that meet a profile. They should. They should not be penalised for it. They should be praised for it. They should even be stopping and searching young men in school uniform, because these kids take these weapons to school. You see, teachers are not allowed to search. Did you know that? Teachers are not allowed to search their pupils. You know, what they have to do is get other pupils to search each other. You know, it's like give your bag next to someone sitting next to you and then get them to search. The problem with that is you're probably going to be giving your bag to your friend, and your friend is not going to grass you up. So, you see what's happening there? What we need to have, and as bad as it sounds, some kind of low profile metal detection system in schools. They don't have to be major, like humongous metal detectors. Just, you know, as you walk in, have one of those magic wand things up and down. A lot of schools have security. All they need is to be stick your arms up, search you on the way in with one of these metal detecting wands. They find something metal, pull it out. Simple. You see, I know 3 schools in this local area where I know kids are taking knives into school. I cannot say the names of those schools for legal reasons, and yet I am at some point going to be going to those schools and having very frank discussions with these headmasters. But the thing is, I need to book these appointments first. and they can quite easily say no, which, you know, is a shame. But we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. But profiling, I think, should be implemented for major crimes. I mean, it's an epidemic. It is. Knife crime at the moment is an absolute epidemic. There's no cure for it, it seems. The only way it will get a cure is stop and search. It's the only way I see it happening. But the thing is, why are kids doing it? Why? And here's your answer, boys and girls. We can avoid saying it as much as we want. The reason why there is so much knife crime: drugs. You have drug dealers that want these young kids to start selling for them, and they give them a knife. And if they get into any trouble, use the knife. That, my friends, is a fact. And before you start jumping on the bandwagon saying, oh, you're wrong, you're just using drugs as an excuse for blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not. This is fact. It comes down to kids wanting to earn money. You see, kids in broken homes, kids with no fathers, or single parent homes, broken homes, where mum doesn't earn enough money. And what then happens is, because mum's not earning enough money, these kids are preyed upon, and they're like, well, do you want to earn some money? No, I'll give you £300 a week. All you got to do is sell a little bit of weed for me, sell a little bit of this for me. To get anyone in trouble, take this knife, dip it into his chest and run. Those are words that I have heard. This is true, you see. And then these kids, these young kids, are earning £300 a week. That's more than minimum wage. They're earning £300 a week for selling shit weed, you see. And by the time these kids are 19, they've managed to save all of this money, and then they go and buy our favourite type of car. Oh yes, what do? They go and buy a BMW or a Volkswagen, usually a 1 Series or a Golf. It's true. Profiling. Let's dive into this a little bit better. You see, I know an individual, and I'm not going to grass him up because I'm not a grass, to a point. But I know of an individual who does exactly this. You see, doesn't carry a knife. I'm just going to say that. Doesn't carry a knife. Doesn't carry a weapon. His choice. He's older than me and's been doing this exact practice for years, since he was a teenager. Makes more money in a week than I make in a month selling drugs. Drives a fancy car. Exactly that. Doesn't work. Fits a profile. And yet, we're wrong for saying that. Honestly. Let's have a look what these comments say. Dulwich, you may be right there, but we know the percentage will be... Yeah, this is very true. When I used to go to school, we used to have teachers search our bags from time to time as soon as we came in. Yep, very true. So did I, but times have changed. You know, national service should come back, says Roy West. No discipline, school kids are like animals, can't say or do anything. Very true. Now let me go into national service. I believe in national service, but it needs to be regulated, if that makes sense. The way I see it is education should be free across the board if you stay in it. So you go to nursery, you go to infants, you go to juniors, you go to secondary school. All of that is free anyway, right? From there, you've got a choice. You can either go to college or you can work. Okay? If you don't work and you don't go to college, you must serve 1 year's national service. If you go to college and you drop out, bearing in mind your college will be free, you do 1 year. You see, if you stay in college up to the age of 18 and then you leave college, go and work, fine. If you stay out of if you drop out of education at any point before the age of 18, you must serve 1 year. My idea, you see, I think it'd be a great idea for one, keeping kids in school and actually getting an education, you know, and learning to speak correct English, which is a big thing. I've got a massive bugbear about is people not speaking correct English, and it will so it will get people a good education, and it would also teach people some discipline and respect. Discipline and respect is what it comes down to, because these kids who fit a certain profile have no respect for anyone because they are not taught how to show respect, and yet they seem to think it's okay to demand respect all the time. There's a certain generation, I'm not going to say it's a certain profile, but there's a certain generation of kids today that seem to think it's okay to demand everything they want. You see, it's usually the, you know, far left-wing Jeremy Corbynista snowflake generation that seem to think they're entitled to everything. They want everything, and yet they show no respect. They get offended by everything, and these are the same people, unfortunately, who also fit a certain profile because they want to be accepted by everyone but don't want to give anything back to society. Life is so hard on me. I wasn't given any opportunities as a young man. Blah, 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 blah. Woe is me. I'm going to go and sell drugs and commit knife crime. See where I'm going with this one? Profiling works, and it needs to be coming in now. So anyway, I'm going. Have a wonderful day.